Hello everyone. I hope you guys are well. Welcome to Keeping Up With, an online series that I created during COVID. Actually, for those who are new, I can see a lot of new people join in. So for those who are new, this is a series that I created during COVID, where I interview special guests to just keep up with their mental well-being and see how they are, how they're doing. And I think this is episode 3 now. So I'll be interviewing Adele Tracy. She is a 800-meter track and field athlete for Team England. And today we're just going to be keeping up with her mental well-being and seeing how she is. And she'll be providing us with some top tips. I know with what's been going on, it's a very, very sensitive time. And I do believe in continuing to engage in healthy conversations, continuing to check up on our loved ones, continuing to check in with ourselves also, as mental health is such a very sensitive topic, but it's a topic that needs to be spoken about. So I'm really grateful and thankful for Adele to be joining us. So hi guys, we're just gonna wait for Adele to join us. But yeah, in the meantime, comment below, send me an emoji based on how you're feeling today. I hope everybody is feeling well. And we'll wait for Adele to join. So send me some emojis, guys. How are you feeling? Oh, here she is. Hey Adele, I'm gonna add you now. Here we go. Right. Just waiting.
Hi, Sinead.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, how are you doing?
Good. I'm good, thank you. I was just telling people to comment below how they're feeling with some emojis.
Mhm.
So how are you feeling first of all? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, this week has been really emotionally draining. I think there's just been so many conversations and kind of outpour of I guess content and people wanting to get involved um and then also reflecting on kind of the actions that have kind of led to all these events this week. Um it's left me feeling quite emotionally drained. Yeah, I don't know about you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. It's very I feel actually lost for words, if I'm
Mm.
honest. I feel like every day my emotions are changing and fluctuating just because obviously, in the UK, we don't know what happens in America. So when they're posting it on social media, it's just like, really? Like, really? It's just, I have no words. It's just, it does
Mhm.
anger me. It does frustrate me. But then, I feel that we just have to kind of look at things in a healthy way and how we can move forward from this and how we can kind of come together and make a change, because I truly believe that 2020 is a new decade, and people are going to rise up, and things are going to change, with what's been going on with COVID. Now we've got this. It's just too much mentally. So I do feel like a change is going to happen, a change is going to come. There's a favorite quote that I like. I think it says something about there's painful endings for new beginnings, something along those lines. And I feel that this pain that people are experiencing is worldwide, you know, and the end result has to be, we have to rise above this, and there has to be a healthy end result. So those are kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's like obviously the pandemic's been global, racism is global, so it's impacting us all. And even though it's uncomfortable to wade through it, it's got to be done, and hopefully that will change things for the better.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So thank you for joining us today. It really means a lot, particularly with what's been going on. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I'm so grateful to speak with you, especially about mental health and self-care. So during quarantine, how have you been?
Um, so I've actually been pretty good, and I feel almost bad saying that because I know it's a really hard time for a lot of people, and you know, everyone's going through different things. But for me, quarantine's kind of been an opportunity to just be still for a little bit. With being an athlete, I travel a lot, particularly at this time of year. And I don't think I normally get to spend this much time at home. So in that sense, it's been really nice to, I guess, do things that I've needed to do and haven't got done. Connect with friends and family more, even if it is from, you know, a distance. And spend time with the people that I was in quarantine with as well. So it's been, yeah, a good time. I feel like I've been really productive with my time, and maybe I have sort of approached it in a very athlete way, and just sort of, you know, made the most of the situation, if that makes sense. Because I wouldn't normally, if I was home this much, I would have work to do because I'm a makeup artist as well, and obviously not being able to do that job has allowed me to try and find ways of being creative at home to try and sort of keep in touch with that, but also being creative as an athlete as well and trying to find ways to train and carry on.
Wow. So that sounds good. And we're going to touch on your career as an athlete and a makeup artist. But one thing I want to speak about was what you mentioned earlier. You said that you kind of feel a bit guilty, the fact that you kind of feel a bit peaceful and that you're using quarantine in a good light to kind of find yourself and do things that you wouldn't normally do. And I think many people are also feeling guilty, you know, particularly if they're finding the peace and they're doing things that they wouldn't normally do. So in relation to when you do feel guilty, what are the types of things that you have been doing to kind of numb that type of feeling, if there's been any?
Yeah, so I guess whenever I kind of feel, I mean, don't get me wrong, not every, you know, every day's different, and being human, obviously your feelings fluctuate on a day-to-day basis. But I think the way that I've gotten through it is just by, you know, kind of giving myself self-care every now and again, and you know, that might be a bit of yoga, or a bath, just simple things like that. I find I normally keep in my routine all the time anyway, because when you're an athlete, like, recovery is so important, and just being able to switch off sometimes is the only way that you can kind of recover fully and be ready to attack it again. But another part of that is switching off, just actually putting my devices down. I'm quite routined with my phone use and technology and stuff. I like put my phone down at 9 p.m. every night and don't pick it up until I've had breakfast the next day. Yeah, and it's been a bit I mean, if I can, I'm pretty regimented with it, because I know I feel so much better for it, and that's just me time where I can fully switch off. And I've actually got I recently got an alarm clock in the bedroom. It's like a sort of a light, as opposed to having my phone in the room, because it's so easy to just wake up, your alarm goes off, and then blue light in the face. So yeah, just little things like that I think are really useful, but it is, you do have to work at it. I think you have to remind yourself, okay, I need to switch off now, and especially during this time, I say I've been really productive, but it is actually, you know, sometimes you can feel like you're overworked in a way, and you know, you're doing too much. So it's just knowing when, and knowing what makes you feel good to switch off to.
Yeah, oh, that sounds lovely. And I like the fact that you're actually engaging more in your self-care, as well as being very kind of I would say determined in relation to, you know, 9 o'clock, your phone's off. And I like the idea that you keep your phone in a separate room, but then you have a nice alarm clock, which is very soothing and therapeutic for you. Because I sometimes find that, you know, when I wake up in the morning, the phone is the first thing I look at, which is not healthy, because then you're exposed to, you know, things in the external world, and it can affect you mentally. So then, speaking on your career, let's first start with you being an athlete, because you are an amazing athlete. You've been doing great things, especially for England. So thank you. So you said you would normally be traveling as part of your job. How does it feel not to travel and just, you know, be at home and social distance?
I think initially that was like a big disappointment for me because I started off the year racing indoors, had probably would have qualified for the World Championships which were in China. Obviously, those championships were cancelled. So after that, it just felt like one thing after another would kept like so my goals kept disappearing, which was a real shame because I was really excited for this year and kind of what lay ahead because it was Olympic year and I'd had plans to travel to America and race there.
Wow.
So it was kind of like slowly over the weeks, each goal kept disappearing. So I think that definitely took some readjusting to, and it was kind of just looking at like short-term goals rather than long-term goals, which generally I say as an athlete you tend to do anyway because you just never know what can happen. Even though I love this sport, you know, you can pick up injuries, illness very quickly because you're pushing your body so hard. So I very much try and take it each day at a time. And I think I've really had to lean into that over the last few months while we've been in lockdown because you know, you can just constantly question, oh, what's going to happen next? Is this going to happen next week? Is this going to happen in a month? And you drive yourself mad just thinking of what could happen. So I think it is very much, you know, having that routine there, which I naturally have anyway, because there's always a session down to bring me back to reality. But also kind of not getting too ahead of myself, making plans. So it's been nice to be in one place in the sense that I've been with my quarantine and we've just been trying to lighten the mood and crack on. But yeah, there's lots of plans that I would have had at this time of year, particularly because that's kind of where we start to get rolling going into the summer, that have been cancelled or postponed, or there's a lot of uncertainty around that too.
Yeah, and I can imagine, you know, especially for you, you know, your career must be so exciting. You said you would have been in China or America, and you know, to kind of hear that your goals are slowly kind of deteriorating, it must be quite disheartening as well, particularly because your career is a part of your lifestyle and you know you train so hard for what you do. In relation to training, then, have you been doing any morning exercises? Do you still kind of train and get that kind of energy going and stuff, or have you just kind of been a bit relaxed in that element of physical activity?
So, like, definitely one thing for me that I always know is that I feel better after exercise. Like, I never regret it, no matter how horrible the session is. It's always worth it. So, I always, like, even in lockdown, like, I've tried to keep movement in. On my rest day, I'll go for a walk or I'll do a bit of yoga or something just to keep moving because I know that it clears my head and I just feel so much better afterwards. And I have had training to do because the odd thing about it is that we kind of have to keep going to a degree because we don't know when we're going to need to be ready. But obviously you've had to take your foot off the gas a little bit because I can't see a physio, so don't want to be incurring any injuries and things like that. So yeah, but like movement, like to me, it's just magic. Like I think it transforms me. Like I feel if I ever feel low or you know, just not myself, like as soon as I've gone for a run, I feel so much better afterwards. And you know, it could be as simple as just going for a walk or having a stretch. But yeah, it really transforms me.
Oh, that's lovely to hear because any form of physical activity, you know, it releases those neurotransmitters that are healthy for the brain and the body and the mind. And I've provided therapy for athletes, and one of the things that I always say is that to be physically strong you need to be so mentally strong. And so I admire, you know, athletes with their mental strength to actually, you know, participate in exhibitions and tournaments and travel around the world because it takes a lot of mental strength. So it's nice to hear that when you do any type of movement, whether it's yoga or whether it's going for a walk, it actually makes you feel good within. So I guess you kind of get that element of self-care, whatever it is that you are doing. So that's really nice to hear. Speaking on, yeah, so back to you being a makeup artist. How have you been being creative in relation to your makeup, and what have you been doing for that to keep you going?
So I've been doing like a lot of just like playing with makeup at home. Like I used to do it all the time when I was at uni and like when I was learning. But like I don't do it that much anymore. So yeah, I just did like a few tutorials, but also just like practicing with different colors and mixing things and testing out products at home. Is something that I wouldn't necessarily have time to do normally, and I wouldn't think to do as much anymore. Like if I'm going to practice something, I'll it becomes work. So it's been quite fun, like just playing and also just writing about things that I like on my blog. And yeah, it's just having the time to do that is really nice.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like during quarantine, I feel like everyone's got very creative in a sense where they're doing things that they wouldn't normally do. Like you said, you're engaging in your makeup, trying different colors, you're blogging. So I really feel that it's bringing people's creative side out. And I think therapy can be creative for anybody. And I feel for me, being creative is very therapeutic in whatever element that you choose to do. So it's nice to hear that, you've been able to engage in creative elements of your career. Are you quarantining by yourself, or do you live with family members?
So I actually was quarantining with my brother and sorry, my boyfriend and his family because we went to his the week before lockdown. So we were there for like 11 weeks. But it was so nice because I feel like we all got to know each other really well, and it was nice to have a few more people because it's a long time to be in quarantine. So I was really grateful for all the company. So yeah, it was really nice actually.
Oh, like, that's nice that you've had some company and you've got to know your boyfriend and your boyfriend's family a bit more. That's lovely. I've also heard that it's bringing families together and getting people to know each other and kind of have those healthy conversations that they wouldn't normally have on a day-to-day basis. So let's get on to self-care then. How have you been taking care of your self-care? So I know you mentioned yoga, makeup, going for walks. Have you been doing anything else in relation to self-care?
So I guess another creative-y sort of thing that you were saying as well. I started painting. Yeah, so I used to paint loads before university as well. So and I quite like doing it just to distract myself a little bit and just lose myself in that activity. So yeah, I started painting, which was like a really nice thing to just do, mainly to like differentiate the week from the weekend because I found because I had so much more time, I would literally work every day of the week on something that was gonna, I don't know, be beneficial or something that I thought would help me work wise. But then I think it's important to kind of separate work and play as well because then you're not switching off as much. So I felt like painting was a really nice way to do that. And just even just watching, TV and box sets, indulging a little bit, and actually playing cards as well, which thought I'd never say. Like I've never been someone that's been into playing cards, but I actually found it really fun.
Oh, nice. Do you know what? One thing that I like that you just said was being able to differentiate between the weekday and the weekend.
Mm,
That's a very good tip because I think for me, I've just kind of been working on the things on my goals that I need to kind of do. And so I will wake up in the morning and think, what day is it today? I wouldn't even know the day. So it's nice that you're able to differentiate between, Monday to Friday and then the weekend, and kind of do different activities based on the different days of the week. Those are nice things to do. I kind of feel like people are unleashing their inner child. When we were children, we would engage in so many different creative things, but then as we grow up, we get faced with work and other responsibilities. But now I feel that people are just kind of, unleashing their inner child and doing things that they wouldn't normally do, like playing cards. I haven't played cards in ages. I haven't played cards in ages. So yeah, it's nice to actually have that time to do those nice things and therapeutic things to take care of your mental well-being. So yeah, thank you for today. It's been amazing. Would you mind if I open up the comments for people to ask any questions?
Yeah, sure, that's no problem at all. Yeah, go for it.
So, guys, feel free to ask any questions. Let me go up and see if there's been any questions. Okay. So, yeah, someone asked, how has your mental health been during quarantine?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's fluctuated. I think, that's completely natural when there's so much like uncertainty. I think actually it improved like a lot more when I knew that the Olympic Games had been postponed. I think like clinging on to the fact that that was still going to happen, but then thinking, how is it going to happen? With so many things going on in the world, was really stressful. So I think just before, like maybe that was back in April, March, I felt really stressed and like really tense around that because I was trying to push myself really hard and stay in shape, but actually didn't know if what was going to happen. So yeah, I think it's fluctuated. I think since then I've got into a really good routine and that's really helped. And then I've just been enjoying, like we've said, all those kind of aspects of self-care and trying to just enjoy the time really.
Thank you. We've got another question. So, as an athlete, how hard slash easy was it to keep up training during lockdown?
So, as an endurance athlete, generally I train twice a day, sometimes three times a day. I was really fortunate that I had a few bits of gym equipment, so I could kind of try and recreate my gym sessions at home. My S&C coach was really great at adapting that, so I could use a chair to do like three different exercises, say. Um, but actually getting out to run twice a day for my session in the morning and my double run, I was prioritizing the session, so I'd do my session, and then in the evening, I probably wouldn't be able to do my second run. So that one exercising once a day, obviously, was limiting for athletes, but now we've got unlimited exercise, we're able to kind of go ahead as normal.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, we have another question. Do you feel more pressure from being a face of London 2012?
Ah, okay.
That's a good question.
No, I've been asked this quite a lot actually, and I I think because I was an Olympic gold medalist with six other athletes, we kind of shared that experience. I think it would have been a lot more pressure if it was just one person that was chosen, but um, I just loved the opportunity and the experience, and that kind of overrided any pressure. And if there was anyone who kind of um, I think any pressure that has ever been added is internal rather than external. I feel like, people will you to do well, and some people might interpret that as pressure, but I think that's amazing, and any pressure that I would put on myself would be from me. And because I just enjoyed the experience and was just loving it, it kind of didn't feel like that. But um, I definitely feel like I want to kind of be in Olympic Games on my own merit and hopefully achieve that one day.
Lovely. Let me see if there's any more. Kudu, there's no more. Okay, I've got one last question. What's the first thing you will want to do when lockdown has kind of like eased off and we can go out to maybe shops and kind of have a bit more freedom? What would be one of the things that you are looking forward to doing?
Oh, do you know what? I actually think like probably go get my hair done or my nails done or something. That's quite an indulgent element of self-care that I really enjoy, is like, going to just sit on my own and get my nails done and yeah, just switch off and enjoy that moment. So probably something like that.
Yeah, I reckon everyone is gonna be either at the barbers or at the hairdressers, just getting that self care again, and just really knowing how it feels like and appreciating your hairdressers and getting your hair done and getting your nails done, because
Mhm.
as much as we try to do it ourselves and try to be creative, it's not gonna be the same as going to a hairdresser. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so thank you so much, as I said, for talking with me, and thank you for allowing me to keep up with you in your mental well-being. I wish you all the best for the future in what you do in your athletics. Do stay in contact and stay safe and take care of your mental well-being always.
Thanks so much, Sinead. It was really cool to chat. Speak to you soon.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. So thank you guys for tuning in to my third episode of Keeping Up With. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have some more interviews next week, so I will be announcing them next week. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.